Now it's time for the third video of fantasy football with amateurs. Today we're moving on now to the biggest group of them all, the wide receivers. So let's start the rankings. As usual, I've done it before categories. Firstly, we've got our elite wide receivers with these 5 chaps here. Like, no question they're elite. The order though is debatable depending on who you ask. This is the way I rank them. Here we've got non-elite top receivers. A couple of them could have been elite or are going to be elite, but I don't think they're elite this year yet. Obviously, Michael Thomas isn't on the list. He will probably be up here, but I'm not drafting him this year. So this is just a list of players I will draft. And then 7 to 12, like these just like number 1 receivers for the teams. 13 to 18, 19 to 24. Then who I think will be the second receiver on the team. Another 20 of these guys. And then third wideouts on the team. I've only included 7 of these across the teams. There's only 7 I thought were worthwhile. Even some of these may not be. So, first up, we've got Adams v Jefferson v Lamb v Claypool. And, well, I think it's fairly obvious to go with Adams. I've already said I'm a massive Packers fan. I'm a massive Adams fan. That was a no-brainer. In steps Hill, straight down there. No-brainer again. In steps Diggs, straight down there. No-brainer again. Diggs and Allen, just going to hook up all the time. And Hill, obviously, is Hill, Tyreek Hill. Calvin Ridley comes in. Now, this is it's between Ridley and Jefferson. And I'm going to go with Jefferson. Mainly because he broke out at the end of last season. So now he's in his second year. He can only go up from here, really. Obviously, there was no pre-season. There was no adjustment time. So now he's had the whole off-season. He's had some pre-season. Time to get ready to learn the playbook. And he's got all the pieces in place to be elite. And I just like the fact that when I picked him up last year, he went on to score a couple of good games. And obviously, Adam Thielen's he's getting a bit older, so he might start declining. Irv Smith is out, so I feel like he can have a massive season. D-Hop steps in now, but now I'm going to go with Ridley. DK Metcalf. It's either him or Hopkins, but I will go with Metcalf. Like, his speed is just outrageous, and if the Seahawks keep having shootouts, he's just going to have loads of chances. Obviously, then it'll be D-Hop next. Right. So just as I did this video, I also happened to swap Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. I put Kupp as the wide receiver 1 and Woods as the wide receiver 2. I did it kind of last minute. I don't know, my feelings were just conflicted all week and I just decided to change it. But so, I'm picking CD Lamb. Like, just Cooper and Woods, and just, they're good, but the problem is they're not as good as others can be. CD Lamb, I'm expecting to have a breakout now that's come back this season. And then Jalen Waddle goes in. Obviously, I'm expecting him to come in and just hook up with Tua and just relive all the stuff he did at Bama and just to really, like, massive. That's why he's, like, my 9th ranked receiver. Then AJ Green v Cooper Kupp v Chase Claypool. It's going to be Cooper Kupp now. Keenan Allen's next. He'll go straight down. Next up, AJ Brown, AJ Green, or Chase Claypool. I'm actually going to go with AJ Green. I just like him more at Cardinals than I feel about AJ Brown at Titans. Even though I've put AJ Brown as wide receiver 1 for the team, they've still got Julio's joined. And obviously they're just going to run through Derrick Henry a lot as well. Now here's Robert Woods. Again, near the top of that list for the ranking he was in. But I'm going to go with AJ Brown this time. Amari Cooper, he's going straight down there. Obviously, I like the Cowboys. And I've somehow picked Lamb above Cooper. Just the way my system works. It happens. It happened to Steelers. No matter what order I pick them, they always end up in a different order when I get around to this bit as well. So Jamar Chase, I like him. Same as Waddle. I think him and Burrow are just going to reconnect with what they had at college. So he's got a chance to do better than Woods, basically. Woods and Cup kind of overshadow each other sometimes, and you have to see who the target preference is now that Stafford's over there. But there we go. Moore's going down next. Mike Evans. Yep, I'll take Mike Evans. Look for another 1,000-yard season. Marvin Jones. I think I'd rather have Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool over Jones. He's got, obviously, he showed what he can do last season at Steelers. And I took Chase Claypool over Robert Woods. As I've said, like, Woods or Cup, you don't know who's going to get it. But I'll take Woods over Marvin Jones. And now next up in the WR3 is Randall Cobb, who he will be Rodgers' number 2 receiver. But I quite like Marvin Jones, to be honest, as if he's going to be the number 1 for Lawrence. Brandon Ayuk, as I said before, I really like him. Terry McLaurin now. He's got a good chance. It depends on Fitzpatrick, to be honest. But I'll give him a chance. I'll pick him next. Allen Robinson as well. He's fallen a bit farther than I thought, but he did have a good season. It just depends on Dalton and Fields for Robinson, to be honest, which is why he's a bit low down. And then we got Smith for the Eagles was next. Obviously still a rookie, but he was a Heisman winner. I do expect him to do well. Kenny Golladay, I like him, and I would like him. As I've said before, I have an issue with the Giants at the minute. So instead I'm going to go with Randall Cobb. I think number 2 on the Packers, he'll do better than number 1 on the Giants. And then we have Chris Godwin steps up, but now I'll pick Golladay over Godwin and Brown. I've already got Evans. I have to worry, but I do want to pick Godwin. He's going to have a good season, and I'll pick him over Jacoby Myers. Now, this is where I've got a bit tough one. Jacoby Myers v. Robbie Anderson v. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, obviously, yeah, I expect to be good, but I expect to miss some games. Robbie Anderson had ups and downs last year. I think this year could be a lot better with Darnold. And obviously, Jacoby Myers now has Mac Jones. So, really, it's between Myers and Anderson, and I went with Myers. And then Sammy Watkins and Anderson, but now I've gone with Sammy Watkins. As I said, I think he'll do well at Baltimore. Devontae Parker for the Dolphins. Now I've gone with Robbie Anderson. Devontae Parker, even though he'll be the number 1 receiver, there's a lot of receivers, like, passes to go around, so, like, between the 3 of them, plus the tight end. And I think now's the time when I go Robbie Anderson will do better. And there we have Julio Jones, but I'll take Devontae Parker over Julio. And then Jarvis Landry pops up. I'd rather have Julio than Jarvis Landry. Marquise Brown. Brown v. Brown. I'll take Landry, to be honest. I still like his passing upside he's got, if they still throw those in. And then we have Henry Ruggs. So now I'm going to go Antonio Brown. I like him more than Marquise Brown. Tyler Boyd comes in. He is the 3rd receiver, so I'm going to leave him there for now. I'll take Henry Ruggs because he is, as I put my top wide out of the Raiders. And Deontay Johnson. As I said, like, my Steelers receivers always get messed around. So Marquise Brown anyway. Then we've got Emmanuel Sanders. I do quite like Emmanuel Sanders, so I'm going to put him there and say he's going to do better than those two. Adam Thielen. I want to do well. He's got a slight decline. He's more red zone target dependent. If he's not going to get the red zone targets, not going to get his touchdowns. So it just depends on how well I think he's going to do. So I'm putting him in there anyway, because I still think, as they've got Jefferson and they've got Cook, they'll get a lot of chances to get down there. Laviska Shenault, I quite like this year as well. Pre-season, he's done quite good. Would I pick him over these two guys, though? No. So I'll go with Tyler Boyd. Look at Michael Gallup, who just underperformed for me last season. So I don't really want to pick Gallup now. It's between Johnson and Shenault. When I think about it, I'm going to go with Johnson. He is a good receiver at the Steelers. Corey Davis, but I'd rather have Chenault. And then who we got here? So now I've got Higgins, the third Bengals receiver. He would have been one of my top targets. It wasn't for Chase. I picked Chase instead. I think I'd rather have Higgins over Gallup. But I think I'll take Corey Davis. He's got a lot of promise at the Jets with Zach Wilson now throwing all the balls. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I predict he'll be the top receiver. He's the only real person to get thrown out apart from Hockenson. But I don't want to pick him yet. So it's a toss-up between Higgins and Gallup, and I'm going with Higgins. As I've said, Gallup underperformed. Mike Williams, I'll go with Gallup instead of Mike Williams because I think Gallup as the third receiver under Dak would be better as the second receiver under Herbert. Now we have Will Fuller. So now I'll go back to Mike Williams. Fuller obviously misses that first game suspended. And again, Dolphins have got a lot of target share to go around. Deebo Samuel, I'll take Deebo as well. He was quite nice last year. And then rookie Elijah Moore turns up. Now this is a tough one. I'd definitely rather have Elijah Moore over St. Brown. I'm leaning towards Will Fuller, to be honest. But I'll take Elijah Moore. Again, while I was leaning towards Fuller, I had good games with him last year. He still misses that first game. There's still a bit to worry about. So, but there we go. I'm going to take him now. Then we get to these three. So I like to Will Fuller over Juju because Steelers are another team where they've got a lot of targets need to go around. But I'll take Juju over St. Brown and Beasley. And then we've got Michael Pittman. So I'm going to take St. Brown first because Michael Pittman's a number 2 receiver who could step up to number 1. Jerry Judy's there, but I'll go with the Pittman now. Aguilar, it's between Aguilar and Judy. Beasley's not one of my top targets, as I've said. I'm worried he missed some games because of having to take time away for COVID. There's a chance he could just retire or leave as well, as he did say in the off season. But so I'll go take Jerry Judy. While I don't think much of the Broncos, he is their number 1 target, and you can't write off a number 1 receiver all the time, regardless if I did that with the Saints. So Aguilar or Beasley, obviously I'll go with Aguilar. And Tyler Lockett or Beasley, I'll put Tyler Lockett right at the end of the WR3 column because he is hit and miss. But I'd rather pick him to get the hits, which is just going to leave me with Cole Beasley and then finally Jameson Crowder. And so that's my 56 receivers to draft in the draft. In order, obviously, yeah, there are some surprises. No other Denver receivers. I didn't pick Cortland Sutton. No Saints receivers. And no Texans. But as I've said before, if he drops to the very last round, I'll take him. Otherwise, I'm not touching the Texans. So thanks for checking that out. Hopefully it's helped. And then on to tight ends next now. See you soon.